All right, so let's go ahead and get started, and want to welcome everyone here today. This is the second in a series of announcements that we've been sharing in policy work and efforts in our city with respect to domestic violence. And I want to begin by just saying that we know during the holidays, it's a time of joy and reflection for a lot of folks. But we also know it can be very stressful. And we also know that, unfortunately, this is one of the highest times of the year for domestic violence. And we all want to remind everyone of a couple of different resources that are available that our city's been putting together, as well as some nonprofit groups that work with us on this important issue. Now, we saw, of course, after Thanksgiving, when we had some of our highest call numbers on record, that this issue continues to be a challenge in our state, and of course around the country as well. But I'm grateful that we have a wonderful team at City Council of city councilors and staff who are continuing to work on this issue in a way that we haven't in the past, that is much more proactive. And it started with a task force in 2019 on domestic violence. This was one of the first the city had that actually led to specific policy recommendations. And one of the biggest recommendations was essentially to institutionalize that and make it permanent. And that's what we're celebrating today, is the formation of the Domestic Violence Commission, which is now going to be able to provide this kind of capacity for the city going forward, no matter who's councilor or mayor or who's staff. And this is a good thing for Albuquerque. Now, we're also pairing this, of course, with the resuscitation of the DART program at APD, which is Specially Trained Officers for Domestic Violence Response. This is the program that we announced Thursday that is going to have dozens of officers starting in the winter and the spring who are better equipped and trained to deal with domestic violence situations, both in terms of de-escalation, but also in terms of possible restraining orders to instantly remove potential victims from a dangerous situation. So with that, I do want to provide some additional information, and we're fortunate to be joined by our coordinator for all our DV efforts, Isis Roybal. Isis.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Isis Roybal. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the coordinator of domestic violence and gender-based violence prevention. I want to thank everybody for being here today to celebrate the signing and formalization of a commission on domestic violence and sexual assault. As Mayor had mentioned, this was a central recommendation based on the 2019 Domestic Violence Task Force. And I wanted to share a little bit of information for people who want to apply. If you're interested in being on the commission as a domestic violence or sexual assault provider or someone with lived experience, you can apply now at the City Clerk's Boards and Commission website under the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Commission. I also just want to say and reiterate that for anyone out there who is going through a domestic violence or a sexual assault issue, 24/7, 365 days, help is available. And we want you to know here at the City of Albuquerque that your community is here for you, and we are dedicated to providing resources to the prevention and intervention of domestic violence and sexual assault. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, and want to acknowledge this did pass unanimously by council, which is wonderful for our city. Of course, we're joined by Councilor Feeblecorn, Councilor Grout, and Councilor Bassan. And so we appreciate their leadership as well as the councilors who also voted for this and sponsored it. So I think what we're going to do is go ahead and sign this. And as is a tradition we're bringing back, we'll have our sort of signing pens. And, on a lighter note, this is Councilor Grout's first ever piece of legislation signed. So that's very cool.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
And let's see if I can get this done properly. What is today's date? Just as
20. It's the 19th.
19th? Okay, great. Okay, so you get a fun pen there, and they're very cheap. They're very cheap pens. So, one, it's not government waste. Two, it won't really work if you try and use it.
Okay.
All right. So there you go, Counselor. Just collecting them there. All right.
This is my first one.
You can get one for the budget? Wow, okay. Counselor, okay. All right. Okay, now So, Isis, we should get you one, but
Here.
I'll give this
No,
to our
here, give Isis
advocate
that one
first.
and then I'll get one another time.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right, we'll
Sure. Yes.
awesome. Well, congratulations, everybody. Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah. And so we encourage everyone to apply as mentioned, and what we'll do, I know some folks have to head out. If there are questions, we can take a few.
I did have one. You brought up the people signing up for different things to be, maybe you've had dealt with this in the past and different things. Can you kind of go more into what they'll be as a provider if you were to sign up for this?
Go ahead, so the mics can get you.
So I guess let me clarify. So there will be people that we, as mayor and city council, they'll elect to serve on this commission. And those people are either dedicated service providers that provide domestic violence and sexual assault case management, counseling services, therapy, so people that are doing the on-the-ground work. And then the other people that can be a part of this commission are people with lived experience, either domestic violence or sexual assault. So is that clarification?
Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely got the first part. Is the people with the lived experience being a part of that, or can you go more into that? Why?
Could be a victim, could be a family member.
No, of course, of why they would, what their role would be.
Oh, sure. So everybody on this commission is going to be serving as a collective voice to sort of identify gaps in the city with service providers, with services, and then they're also going to come up with like ways to fund things, advocate for things like that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I did have one for Mayor Keller as well.
Sure.
Since this is finally getting signed permanently today, what will this change for people who have been dealing with domestic violence? Will this allow more resources, or what's the goal now?
The goal is, for the first time in our city's history, we now have a actual official place where people can go to look for not only a clearinghouse for different resources. The commission itself won't provide them, but certainly they'll be aware of them, but also a public and official voice to advise policymakers and the administration on how we can help with domestic violence. And so this is something that exists in some other cities and also at the state level and so forth. And it's actually a little bit long overdue in Albuquerque, and now we have it. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you.